Jackie Robinson, Roberto Clemente, Willie Mays, Manny Ramirez, Barry Bonds, David Ortiz. These influential and talented baseball players may have never had a chance in the major leagues if it weren't for the work, willpower, and vision of one man, Branch Rickey. Branch Rickey was the general manager and president of the Brooklyn Dodgers. In 1947, he integrated Major League Baseball by signing Jackie Robinson, a black player from Georgia. This was the first time that a black player was admitted into Major League Baseball. There had been some attempts at integration before in the 1880s by the Toledo Blue Stockings, but this was met by a huge uproar from fans, other teams, and other players. No one had ever tried again, not until Branch Rickey. Rickey was mainly motivated by a sense of justice and dissatisfaction with inequality that sat with him since his youth. He also saw great talent in black players that he felt was being wasted and unnoticed due to segregation. It wasn't just anyone who could have integrated baseball. America was still extremely racist and segregated. All over the country, blacks were prohibited from engaging as equals in even the most basic ways. They couldn't sit at the same counter. They couldn't stay at the same hotels. They couldn't use the same water fountain. The idea of admitting them into America's favorite sport was a radical idea, sure to encounter great resistance. Branch Rickey had unique leadership qualities that enabled him to surpass the resistance and break the color barrier. He had an extraordinary strategic plan, sense of timing, character judgment, and management skills. In order for his integration plan to work, Rickey identified 5 problems that must be addressed. The first of these problems were the team owners. As he was only an employee at the time, it was key to have those above him in line with every step of his plan. Ownership must be in line with you, is what Rickey often stressed. The next problem was the chosen player himself, the player he needed to be talented and dedicated. Rickey spent months in foreign countries only to find the man he was looking for was in the United States all along. The next, and more difficult problem was finding the right man off the field. He had to be a great player, but he also needed someone who could tolerate angry baseball fans and media critics. He described his target, a man with exceptional intelligence and one able to control his responsibilities of himself to his race. Rickey didn't need a man who would fight back and argue. He needed someone who would bite their tongue and hold their chin high. Part 4 of Rickey's plan involved public relations. This included the players' housing, accommodations, and possible embarrassments. With much of the nation already against integration, Rickey could not risk adding any fuel to their fire. The last part, and most difficult aspect to handle, was the relations with the African American community itself. Rickey feared their over-adulation and mass attendance could lead to misunderstandings and antagonism between races. Rickey established a committee of eminent black leaders and other public servants to manage the expected crowds. The one piece of the plan that Rickey had no control over was the acceptance by colleagues and fellow players. From the beginning, he knew this would be an obstacle that he could not work on ahead of time, so he worked to control the other 5 pieces. He planned for 2.5 years, knowing that each piece was crucial and dependent on the other. Branch Rickey could not have made this bold move at any old time. America remained extremely racist and segregated from the Jim Crow era through the 1930s, so any attempt then, even in the North, surely would have resulted in a violent backlash. Additionally, baseball was a very conservatively run sport, open to neither innovation nor change. And while there was no statute excluding blacks from baseball, it was an unwritten but universally recognized rule that no club owner was prepared to break. This extremely segregated environment was very difficult to work around, so Rickey's moment had to be perfect. The biggest obstacle he faced, though, was baseball commissioner Kennesaw Landis. Landis held its ground against any attempts at integration in the MLB. In 1942, when Bill Veeck wanted to buy the Phillies, Landis discovered his plan to integrate and arranged the sale to another buyer. His powerful presence gave Rickey no opportunities. When Landis died in 1944, Rickey was free to execute his forming plan. Albert Happy Chandler, Landis' successor, supported Rickey fully. Had Rickey taken any steps sooner, he probably would have failed, possibly even ruining future chances.